my mom called me on the phone and she was crying hysterically and told me Tammy passed.
Jurors heard emotional testimony from Tammy Daybell's family during Chad Daybell's triple murder trial this afternoon. Thanks for being with us here on the News at 4. I'm Joe Paris. Chad Daybell, we've told you all about him. He's the man accused of killing and conspiring to kill Tammy, as well as two of his current wife, Lori Vallow Daybell's kids, Vallow and Tylee Ryan. And Morgan Romero was in court today for the start of the fourth week of trial. And Morgan, I know there's a lot of questions as we get into this fourth week.
Yeah.
Are we finding out new information, or is this a lot of the similar stuff we heard in Lori's trial?
New information today because, again, as we mentioned last week, Chad is accused of murdering Tammy, whereas Lori was accused of conspiring to murder Tammy. So we're hearing from more of her family members and people who knew more about her. Tammy's family members said when they found out she died, they were really confused because she was so young and healthy. During Tammy's viewing in Utah, just days after she passed away, Tammy's cousin said Chad gave conflicting information about what happened before and after Tammy passed and how Chad found her body. Chad, in the courtroom today, shook his head in disagreement during Hannah Munoz's testimony. Munoz testified Chad told some people at the viewing he found Tammy dead when he came to bed that night. But that's inconsistent with what he told law enforcement, which was that they were sleeping and he woke up to Tammy rolling off their bed. Tammy's cousins testified Chad was not behaving the way they expected after losing his wife of 3 decades.
It stood out to me because I would have expected someone who just lost their partner to be a little more distraught. And he seemed calmer than I would have expected him to be.
Nick Balance, a special agent on the FBI's Cellular Analysis Survey Team, or CAST, testified for hours this morning. He said he examined voluminous amounts of cell phone records and Google location history in this case. The cell records were related to multiple phones connected to Chad, Lori, and Alex Cox, that's Lori's brother. And the Google history was from an email address associated with Alex. Balance said Lori, Chad, and Alex called and texted each other on September 9th of 2019, the day after Tylee was last seen, and on September 23rd, the day after JJ was last documented alive. Jurors saw maps showing Alex going between his apartment and his sister's and driving to and from his place in Chad's. Jurors also saw a map showing the days after the kids were last seen, Alex's device was near the areas where Tylee and JJ's bodies were found on Chad's property. Chad's defense attorney, John Pryor, asked Balance if he knew where Chad was during those times, but Balance didn't recall looking into that. Pryor also pressed the special agent about why the FBI didn't look into Lori's friends who were staying with her the weekend JJ was last seen.
Why aren't you looking at phone records for David Warwick and Melanie Gibb?
So I was not asked to examine any records for those two.
Nobody asked you, no one provided that information to you?
I wasn't asked to examine records for those two.
Okay, were you aware that at that time, at the location of Alex Cox's phone location, that in close proximity on that day, Melanie Gibb and David Warwick were also there? Were you
Objection misstates the evidence.
Sustained.
Pryor pointed out Lori and Chad communicated frequently because they were having an affair, and Balance doesn't know what their texts said, just when they sent those texts. Trial ended a couple hours early today because witness testimony moved quicker than prosecutors expected. There's no court tomorrow, so testimony and evidence will pick back up Wednesday morning. And Joe, I want to point out, you asked me earlier if some of what we're hearing is some of the information that we gleaned during Lori's trial, and Balance's testimony was also information we learned during Lori's trial as well. So jurors having to digest a lot of data there.
Yeah, a lot of information for the jury here in this trial. We'll continue to follow this one. Morgan Romero reporting. Thank you so much, Morgan.